In the early years of Spanish Inquisition in the Kingdom of Aragon, people of heretic thoughts such as Judaism, Islam, and other religions which does not belong to Christian heritage did their religion secretly, but especially the Jew population was the most after the Christian population. Therefore, my primary source focused on the Jews. I will be using the word Jews. During the reign of King Henry III, Catholic preacher Friar Vincent Ferrer wanted to convert Jews and baptize them. He and other clerics preached the Jews and sent Bible to those who beyond his territory. As my primary source claims, only a few Jews agreed on being baptized. Due to that, people got furious about the situation and they started to kill Jew population around them. Many Jews went to church to be baptized after that. Some baptized Jews immigrated while some stayed. Jews who stayed after being baptized started to be named as conversos, comes from Spanish word el converso, which means converting. According to Andres Bernaldez, a chronicler and priest in Los Palacios, who apparently observed the first actions of the first inquisitors under Catholic King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, conversos understood Catholic religion poorly. Other than acting as if they are still Jews, they also insulted the Catholic beliefs by their actions. For example, while living Judaism, secretly they also tried to preach the Talmud. Andres Bernaldez wrote in his documents as the following. At the time that this heretical depravity arose, many monasteries founded by Gentiles and merchants were violated, and many professed nuns were corrupted and mocked, some of them by gifts, others by trickery. And the conversos did it to injure Jesus Christ and the Church. With such reasons, Catholic and Christian King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella obtained a bull from the Pope to punish heretics with fire. The papal bull was conceded and the Inquisition is ordered in 1480. With that, trials and punishments began.
In the time of Spanish Inquisition expanded, lots of people like rivals, slaves, lower classmen, accused without any legitimate proof, and despite of that, they imprisoned. In Spanish Inquisition, witnesses had very crucial role. In order to not having witnesses in accusal, court were not accused the prisoners with specific condemnation. It had to phrase by general terms. Unfortunately, system had an explicit. Anyone had an opportunity to commit perjury and malicious testimony. Because of all imputations were taken earnestly, even a man exonerated. While trial was pending or in progress, suspects put into cell to await trial. After they find guilty, criminals get jailed, and after they serve a sentence, they had to take an oath to not bring out anything that they experienced. Despite some arguments about jails being unhealthy, jails were in a good condition. As a matter of fact, in Cordoba, prison authorities started to complain about pathetic and unhealthy conditions of the prison. So, they asked to move prisoners to prison of Inquisition, which was more suitable to sanitary requirements. Inquisition was paying attention, but it was not generous and humanitarian. Prisoners were fed on their own purse, so they had to eat some bread and meat. Some prisoners were well cared, counting on their financial situations. So some of them had to sleep on the floor with no heated cells and they starved. Furthermore, prisoners were cut off from the world outside, and if it is possible, they could not communicate with the other prisoners as well. However, in 1655, these rules started to change, and on the Tribunal of Granada, they were able to go out in the mornings and they returned to their cells at night. Despite it seems humane, there were some cruel punishments for prisoners, like sending away, flogging, and killing. In medieval Inquisition, flogging started to be common, and the best way to escape from the punishment was the galleys. Court condemned prisoners to galley for life, so Inquisition time, despite they were acting carefully, there had been some cruel behaviors against prisoners.
I, Marina Gonzalez, am the wife of Francisco de Toledo, a spice merchant who is a resident of this village of Almagro. I present myself before your lordship to declare my faults and the sins I have committed, in offense against our Redeemer and Master Jesus Christ, and against our Holy Catholic faith. I sinned in that I fasted sometimes out of ceremony, and asked for forgiveness from others, and others asked it from me. I sinned because I gave up eating pork and meat stew, and things that were prohibited. I sinned because I broke certain feast days that the Holy Mother Church ordered us to observe. I did not keep them as I ought. I sinned because I ate dishes of fish at a low table during a funeral. I lay this before your reverences, and ask for penance because I offended our Redeemer and Master Jesus Christ, going against our Holy Catholic faith in a certain necessary things. Though I cannot remember all of these things at the moment, I assure you I will declare them when they come to me. And from today onward I will live and die and finish up in the Holy Catholic faith, which I embrace in our defense all the days of my life. For all the things I have confessed, I beg pardon and redemption of our Lord Jesus Christ. May your reverences give me a penance that is helpful for my soul, which I am ready to complete.
Reverend Lords, I, Bachelor Diego Martinez Ortega, Chief Prosecutor of the Holy Inquisition in the very noble city of Toledo and its diocese, appear before your reverences to accuse Marina Gonzalez, wife of Francisco del Toledo, spice merchant. She has received the holy sacrament of baptism, lives with the name and reputation of a Christian woman, and calls herself such, and enjoys the privileges and liberties that Christians enjoy, but with contempt for the Holy Mother Church, with disdain for the Christian religion, and in great offense towards our Redeemer Jesus, and condemnation of her soul, she has heretically and apostatically followed the law of Moses and its rites and ceremonies. Once before she pretended to confess some things to your lordships and was reconciled to the Church. She publicly abjured those errors in heresy, especially to the observance of Mosaic law. Thus I beg and request, very reverend lords, that you pronounce Marina Gonzalez such a heretic and relax her to justice and secular arm. Above all, I ask that justice be done and ask your noble office to what is necessary. And I swear by God, Holy Mary, and the sign of the cross that I do not place this accusation maliciously, but only because I am so informed and advised.
My lords, as the attorney of Marina Gonzalez, wife of Francisco de Toledo, spice merchant, resident Diego Teles, respond to accusation brought against my party by Diego Martinez de Ortega, Chief Prosecutor of the Inquisition. I state that my party is not a criminal, nor is she guilty of anything contained in the accusation, because of the following. First, the accusation was not begun at the time, and in the way it should have been. Secondly, it contains no details about place or time that I could contemplate and respond to. And after the above, on February 1, 1494, Diego Teles appeared and submitted a list of questions in Marina's name, which he wanted his witnesses to be asked as they appeared at the trial.
Spanish Inquisition wrecked the social life of Spain with its brutal penalties against religious minorities. Social demographic of Spain during the Inquisition times consisted of Jews, Muslims, pagans, but mostly Catholics. The main aim was to extinct Judaism and heresy and eventually convert non-Christians to Christians. Converted Jews were called conversos. Spain had the biggest population of Jews all over Europe before the rise of Inquisition brutality. They enhanced Spain's social, cultural, and economic standing in many ways, and hence they gained wealth, status, privileges. Popular feelings of indignation at the Jews' superior social and economic status, inflamed through provocative sermons, found their expression in anti-Semitic riots in major Castilian and Aragonese towns. Therefore, unlike other European countries, Spanish Inquisition had more of a political characteristic. They would investigate heretics activities and make those people confess with unspeakable ways and eventually convert them into Christianity. These acts of ruthlessness formed a social life built of fear. Inquisitors didn't need a strong evidence to burn a person because of heretic activities. If a person gave away the name of another, it was enough evidence to blame them with heresy. This lack of credibility of the Inquisition led to slander and squabble between people. If there were a problem between two neighbors, it was enough to give away others' name to take revenge. This can be widened with lovers, business partners, fathers and sons, jealous partners, obsessive people, and so on. With this corrupted way of act of justice, it was impossible to trust another person but yourself. At that moment, there were no such thing as interaction and relationships with people. There were no such thing as a social life.